Please, the show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
But I do find it kind of interesting that the messages are so different. You have black men who have daughters on one end saying that their daughters should have an expectation for a man that they date. And then you have black men, on the other hand, who are out in these streets who are also saying, yo, y'all asking for a little too much.
So if you're making $50,000, don't date. Ooh. I'm just being for real. You're not ready to date.
Again, I'm with you when
you're not ready to date. You're not ready to date because courtship costs.
Okay.
Everything costs. Okay. You can go for 22 walks in the park. Eventually, shorty is gonna need a sip of something. She gonna be thirsty.
I always get told that I am too intimidating.
There's another one, intimidating. I don't think I've ever looked at a woman and said, I am afraid because you are good at things. What I am afraid of is that you are going to want to do something that costs $3,000, and I don't have $3,000.
Just because I am a strong, independent woman doesn't mean that I want to be that in every single category of my life.
Are women still calling themselves that? I thought strong, independent woman had become a meme. I guess the girl who's happy with a coffee date is weak and dependent.
Women telling women to manipulate men on the internet is not considered toxic. But defending men and telling them to avoid those type of women is.
Why we not talk? Well, let's talk about it.
We live. We live. Yeah.
That's the show, Dada!
The last 7 days have been totally insane, but we made it. Now buckle up and get ready for the most organic conversation on the internet with your hosts, the Force, the King, the Kamikaze, the Great and Terrible. Up to it, down to it. Pour a glass and talk some trash. Welcome to the show, and thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a good time tonight right along with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend. Let's go up to it.
We back in the building, baby. That's what it is, man.
What it do? What it do?
Let me make sure everything is set up right. Because sometimes
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man. Sometimes you over there, sometimes over here. Who knows, you know.
We all over the place, man. But we make it work. We make it work 100% of the time. So here we are. We are back on Friday night. Your boys, your Friday Night Delights for Up to It, Down to It. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Assuming we can still call you that. Back for another episode, man. Lots of controversy out here in the world. We're going to talk about it. We're going to put it out in the open. We're going to have some fun while we're doing it. We're going to take some shots. We're going to talk a little bit of trash because that's what we do. I'm your boy, the Great and Terrible Trey. I'm going to bring y'all all kind of good, different stuff today, man. But as you can see, we got the Two Live crew here in the building. You know what I'm saying?
Two for me. Two for you.
Two for you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We back, man. Look, we're going to give my man some screen time real quick. Give it up. I'm here with the inspirational King Rich. LB,
oh, man.
Good, man.
Oh, man. What's going on, everybody? LB, good to see you, man.
Good to see you, bro.
You know, I'm in the building. I'm fine like wine as usual. I hope everybody else is as well. Fine like wine and getting better with time. Tonight's select, I am sipping on none other than this bottle I had presented to you guys before, right? This is that Wood. I'm gonna call it Wood Enville. Okay, I'm gonna call it Wood Enville because later on the night I'm gonna try to get my wood in Herville. Anyway, Anyway, now the byproducts of I also got the vodka here, which is the Kirkland's, and I mixed that with the Bacardi rum, and then the Los Cabos tequila. So we're gonna put all three of that in a shot, and that's what I'm shooting tonight because it's been that kind of week. So listen, what I'm still stuck on what I told you guys about last week about pick a side, take action, um, and I'm standing firm on that. But also this week was this was one of those weeks where the action part, hey man, you guys get out there, take action, make it happen. Now's the time. You know, learn what you can learn, but along the way, you're gonna learn better. Like you can learn more by doing than you can just sitting there reading it in the book. Now, I'm not telling you not to read a book. What I'm saying is, you got to get out you got to get on the field and get in the game, get in the action. Because it's a game out here. They playing chess, and some people playing checkers. So I've said this before as well. Learn the game. So you can get better at it, and in hopes of getting to that goal of beating the game. But yeah, man, we're gonna have some fun. There's so much going on in the world right now. We're gonna touch on as much as we can within the time constraints that we have. But we're gonna have some fun tonight. So thank you guys for joining. We're gonna get into it. You got the two live crew in the building. We're gonna have some fun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're gonna have us a good time tonight, man. One on one with the great ones on Up to It Down to It, with the married ones for sure. And that actually is a little bit of what we're going to talk about today. This perspective coming from the married sector of Up to It Down to It. That being said, though, big shout out as always to Q. He's holding it down on the work front.
Holding it
You know,
down.
holding it down for the pound, my brother. Do your
Yeah.
thing. Continue doing your thing. And a big shout out to Kev. He's got I believe it's All State with his seniors this
Yep.
weekend. So big shout out to him, man. He's always doing big things, always elevating to the next level, and pouring into the next generation, man. So shout out to both of our
Both of
brothers
those guys taking action.
taking action.
Yep,
Taking
making it
action.
happen.
It's almost like somebody said that already.
Proud of those guys.
Super proud, man. Super proud. All right, LB. So look, man. Look, I am drinking and smoking on what I'm drinking on. If you understand, you can't see that. It's
Yeah.
say there it is.
Okay. Yeah.
There it is.
Uh
There
huh.
it is. I am sipping on that. That's what's already mixed into my glass here. And might take a couple puffs here and there too. We'll see. We'll see how the night goes. You know,
Do what you do, Playboy.
I think it'll probably go in my favor. What can I say? What can I say?
Man.
Hey, and big shout out before we even get started. Big shout out to all the listeners. Big shout out to everybody in the comments. We hope the comments will be going off like y'all tend to do, man. Again, that's an important part of what we do, and we love that part. It's the best part of what we do, if you ask me. So, big shout out early to the comment section. LB, let's get into it, man. We like to start with the sports topic, and we've been on basketball and a little bit of football the last couple of weeks. We had the All-Star game this past weekend. Were you able to take any of that in?
Man, I was not, like I said, man. It's been a busy week with work, family life, and all of that. And I had gotten back into basketball a little bit, but All Star Week, man, I wish I could have. I only got a clips of like the 3-point contest because that was plastered all over social media and whatnot. And that was interesting. And I mean, what you tell me? What else was what was going on? I did see. Oh, I did hear that the game. I thought I heard that the game was more what I guess exciting to watch. I don't know. I thought I heard that. You tell me.
It was fun. It was different. There was no there was absolutely no defense. Um, and then at the same time, how can you play defense on niggas shooting from half court?
Oh, that's who. Yeah, yeah. Who was that? Who was that? He hit back to back half court shots or something.
Yeah, yeah. No, Halliburton did.
Oh man, yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton, he hit a couple of them. So yeah, when you got cats shooting, literally just pulling up from the logo and making them. I mean,
Next, we're gonna have somebody inbounding the ball all the way down and making it in the hoop.
basically, basically. So I mean, it was fun. It was high scoring. I think the West put up 200. I think the score was like 211 to 180 something. Like
What?
yeah, yeah, straight up, straight up. It was like
What in the NBA Jam? What?
yeah, right,
Huh?
right, yeah, yeah. Matter of fact, hold on, I'm gonna get it for you.
Dog, that's like that's a score of you on 2K or something, and you playing the sorriest team possible, and you just running up the scoreboard. What?
But the wild part is they still gave up 186 points. Like that's the wild part. It was 211 to 186.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's
So
wild.
they scored almost a combined almost 400 points. I think it was at 397, 397, 397. Yeah, 397. So look. So some people said that. What up, Liz? Some people said that that ruined the game, right? It's not so like when you go to the All-Star game, you want to see the best play against the best. You don't necessarily. I mean, maybe you want to see a shootout. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you want to see a shootout in the All-Star game. You want to see everybody just make all the shots. Maybe you want to see the best. I would think you want to see the two best teams or the two best combination of the East and West teams go at it and you know play hard. I think they used to do this thing where they used to at least play the fourth quarter strong, like first, second, they kind of just shoot
Kind of
around
just
and
going through the motions. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, alley oops and all this other sort of thing. But then by the fourth quarter, it was like, all right, man, lock this down, let's do it. And I don't know that I saw that this time, but I mean that's my opinion. I don't know if I saw that this time.
So, I mean, did it feel too much like Kumbaya? I mean, and is there an incentive? Well, even if there's not an incentive, I mean, the incentive, for me has always been, I want to win, I want to win, I want to
Yeah,
win.
right, right.
But I don't know. Part of me is like, okay, these guys basketball IQ, or some might say, prima donna, as to not getting hurt for no other reason than to be able to say that the East is better than the West, or the West is better than the East. Um, which, I mean, like I said, I'm me personally, I'll go after that title. Just because my hunger for the game, like, to
Yeah,
win.
yeah, I'm competitive enough for that. Like,
But I'm for a shootout to happen. I mean, that's I think that's fun to watch. I think there's competitiveness in that. Um, I it's not the same day as Vince Carter being out there, because you was gonna get some type of different types of dunks going on, like just hopping out the arena. And so now it's just a different dynamic. We have more 3-point shooters, more people, just more players just focused on that outside shooting.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely more of an outside game. It's a 3-point driven league more so. Big men have relatively disappeared. I mean, with the exception of a few, and even a lot of those big men you have to be able to shoot. You got to be you got to be able to be a threat from deep and grab 15 rebounds a game. You know what I mean? So
Some of them are on the 3-point line.
yeah,
What?
yeah.
You know,
Joker's game is crazy, man. He's 7-footer that can shoot from anywhere. He's a three shoot from literally anywhere on the court.
yeah,
And he'll still give you 20 rebounds and 10 assists.
yeah, man,
So
yeah, man. Well, but we got some lady shooters apparently too. Didn't
yeah,
the WNBA? Oh my gosh, what's her name? I can't think of her name right now. But she scored as many points as the NBA team,
yeah.
the NBA shooters. So she
Yeah,
tied. She
Sabrina
tied the top.
Ionescu.
Who was that? Because like I said, I didn't watch it, but I did. I heard about it. But of course, Curry cooking. He turned it on and took the win for that 3-point contest. And then there was some controversy with one of the announcers. Who was that? Who said something about she should have had a women's ball or something, or I forget what it was. But I mean,
Yeah. So she should have had a WNBA ball.
it's like you can't even say anything. Period. Like I personally didn't I didn't take it as like, you know, like negative. Like he was coming down. I took it as like, trash talk or just, that old school announcer talk. Not to say that, disrespect is okay. I'm just saying, like, listen, I grew up as the youngest and smallest person in in like our little group, that we had growing up. Pretty much, I was pretty much 9 times out of 10 the youngest one. So we going out there playing football, youngest, smallest. So I had to fight to be on the field. So and trash talk was part of the game. Trash talk was super part of the game. So I'm not saying disrespect is okay. What I'm saying is, hey, you proved them wrong. Go prove them wrong again. Go keep that buzz, going. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. So yeah, it was Sabrina Ionescu. She went and she actually broke the 3-point contest record. She is the most points scored in any one round. She scored 37. So out of every shot she took, I think she only missed 2. Right, which I mean is absolutely insane, phenomenal, great work. You know,
Oh, so that was the other one. So that was the women's by themselves, because
no. So she did it, I believe, in the same. Oh no, I guess it wasn't. I guess it was with the women's. Yeah, against the women.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Against the women, she did.
Okay,
And then she only lost going 1-on-1 against Steph Curry. She only lost by 3.
yeah,
She put up 26 in that round,
yeah.
which I mean, if she's not going up against Steph Curry, I think she wins that round. So, like shout out to her, and I think that's great. I hope they have more little like mini skills competitions like that. That can be something maybe that helps get the WNBA profitable because they make money, they make revenue, but they don't generate a profit, and those aren't the same thing. So hopefully this is the beginning of a new era for the WNBA. Been long enough because if it was a man's league, it would have been shut down 15 years ago. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I don't want no trouble. Comments. Don't come for me in the comments. I'm just saying.
No. Please, come on, comments.
Pull up if you want to, but I'm just
We're
saying.
here. We're here for the comments.
Pull up on me if you want to. But no, great stuff, man. There's going to be plenty of reason for the comments section to get mad at me tonight, okay? There's going to be all kinds of reasons. Not that, really?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Anyway, lots going on, lots to talk about. Jo, what's good, man? Oh, you're gonna like some of this stuff here. Yeah, this is gonna be fun for you. So we're gonna talk about a subject, and although Rich and I are out of the dating field, thank God, because the dating pool has pee in it.
These days.
It's disgusting. But while we are both happy to be out of that, I think we both have a want to see families succeed, right? We want to make families great again, right? Make the nuclear family great again. All right. All we need now is some shoes. Anyway. Those shoes are fire. Come at me in the comments if you want to. The shoes are fire. Anyway,
you're trolling.
yeah. I'm totally trolling. I wouldn't wear them. I wouldn't wear them, but I would buy them. All right, I would not wear them, but I would.
Now, listen. Here's the crazy part, right? Because from what I heard and read, Bama's bought them and were already flipping them for like double because people would, or at least they posted it. I didn't see anybody like buy, but they bought them and then reposted them for double the money and whatnot. I mean, hey.
I said it when I saw it. I was like, people talking about I ain't got no outfits to wear it with. I was like, look, man, y'all looking at the wrong thing. I promise you, everybody that bought those shoes, that was an investment. That's memorabilia. And the thing is, it's genius memorabilia because whether he wins or he loses or he gets put in jail, those shoes are going to be worth a lot more than that $400 that those people paid for them. Like this was smart. He just basically gave them all a stipend. You know what I'm saying?
Money in the process.
I'm just saying. He just gave and they sold 1,000 pair in them 2 hours. He just gave them all a bonus check, and people out here worried about what fit they're gonna wear them shoes with. Y'all worried about the wrong shit. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
What we got up next?
So, as much as we want to continue to make families great again, we got to answer a few questions, I think. So I came across a video on Instagram from Jamel Hill, and she asked a couple thought-provoking questions about men who are dating and what our expectations of the women are, and men who have daughters and what we tell our daughters to have an expectation of, right? So I'm going to let her break this down in her words, and we can react to this together. Stay tuned. Here we go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm probably going to make a super unwise decision by getting involved in these gender culture wars that seem to be taking place inside of our community. But I did honestly have a question because I see two things happening at once, and I'm wondering how do they flow together or if they flow together. So I often see Black men who have daughters posting on social media about like how they feel like their daughters should be treated as queens, respected, all those things. They should be waiting for a man that's going to give them everything, that they should have a high standard, that they should not settle for anybody who's trying to be cheap, all these things. And again, this is coming from Black men who have daughters. At the same time, simultaneously, There are conversations about how Black women expect too much, how there's too many Black women who are out here on dates and whatnot, or in whatever realm, who are asking people to pay their rent, who are feeling super entitled. And I'm not trying to negate the experiences of Black men who have run into these kind of women, not at all. But I do find it kind of interesting that the messages are so different. You have Black men who have daughters on one end saying that their daughters should have an expectation for a man that they date. And then you have Black men, on the other hand, who are out in these streets who are also saying, yo, y'all asking for a little too much. So I want to hear from the Black men who are dating and the Black men who have daughters. Like, what is it? Like, give me.
Okay. Well then, game on.
Wow. This definitely hits at you, LB.
Directly.
Ah.
In the face. You go ahead first. Go ahead. Jump in.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go first because I'm just so see. I mean, this is a comparison of, she mentioned high standards. Well, she mentioned, Black men telling their daughters to have high standards, right? You should have high standards. But this, she came back and said something about you shouldn't accept anything cheap, or she was talking about, like, she was putting a value on, like, the money aspect, like a cheap date, this, that, and the third. And I mean, she said she's seen it. I haven't seen too much traffic on that, or I don't even hear about Black men telling their daughters to, I mean, being treated like a queen, yes. Being treated, again, the high standards. You're vetting these guys. You're not just accepting anything, right? I think that's all fine and dandy. She kind of lost me at that whole, like, cheap thing when she said cheap. And here's the thing. It really depends on, your wants. Like, if that's how you feel, then you know what? That's you. But if I had a daughter, I'm saying I'm instilling those values and those standards, because at the end of the day, she's gonna make her own money. I'm definitely teaching my daughter how to be, self-sustaining and all of that. And then it's gonna be looking for those qualities, though. It's gonna be looking for those qualities, not so much, the money aspect, but the qualities. And yes, she is gonna have high standards. So here's the thing: I don't see any Black man raising their daughter to be a gold digger, or raising their daughter to be so focused on, oh, he's taking me to McDonald's and not Ruth Chris. Like I said, it could be out there. She's saying it, so she must have seen something, I guess. I don't know. What's your take on it, LB?
I hear what she's trying to say. And I think what she's trying to say is that we teach our daughters to have really, really, really high standards, but we don't apply that same thing to the women that we date. And I would push back on a few of those things. I can't speak for all fathers of daughters, but being a girl dad myself, it is more important for me to know that my daughters are in the hands of a man that will take care of them, more so than it is for a man that will pay for them, if that makes sense. Like a man that will genuinely take care of them and love them and be there for them through thick and thin, through ups and downs, in sickness and in health, rich or poor, death do us part, etc. Right? I think that's more important, as you were talking about those values, I would stress that those things are more important than just the money part. And this doesn't mean that money isn't important. Like, you know, how he manages his money is important, but where he is financially today is not nearly as important, right? Because things can change. Things do change over time, right? You know, like we're early 40. Well, you're about to be 40, right? Just turned 40, right? So, you know, where we were in our 20s versus where we are now is different, and where we're going to be at 50 and 60 is different too, right? We know things differently than we did back then, and have different practices and so on and so forth, right? So where and you probably most times if you're getting married, it's probably going to be you're going to aim for a younger ish age. So where how a man makes his money right now isn't so much as important as how they manage their money. But even that's not nearly as important as how well they're going to take care of you. Because there's a lot of guys that make money and manage money well, but they don't manage relationships well. They're actually toxic. You know, they're abusive and so on and so forth. So um, uh, I I wouldn't put as much emphasis on the money part as I think a lot of as she described, right? Again, I'm not in those circles with dads that say that, oh yeah, my of course we want everything to be top notch. You want it to be best of the best of the best, of course, right? But we're not telling our daughters, at least I ain't seen it. We ain't telling our daughters to reject the Starbucks date. We're not telling our daughters to, you know, tell that man to pay a cell phone bill or two or three before you're even going to consider dating him. We don't do that. We don't say, you know, yeah, he's got to buy your hair and get your nails done and stuff like that, and then y'all can have a relationship. I've never seen it. If we're telling our daughters that, I've never seen it, and I certainly wouldn't tell my daughter that.
See, you touched on something though, because you said, you know, the circles, you know, that we're in, right? And you know, me and my wife, we have this conversation often, whereas that we don't understand like how somebody could say this or do this or act the way they act, and it's like, well, wait a minute, you know, the way we think doesn't seem to be the majority these days, right? It's not the majority. We are like, you know, set apart. And then, all right, so who you hanging around? All right, so the circles that, you know, you hang around, right? That thinking is not on the same bandwidth as these other cats out here. So now, you know, I'm like, all right, let me put myself in the other shoe, in another circle, right? Where, you know, maybe these dads are out here teaching their daughters the game, you know, how to get this money out of a dude. And then that same dad, you know what I'm saying, who's single, who's, you know, probably only has his daughter on the weekends or whatever it is, you know, the case may be. Because she didn't specify. She didn't say married dads, or she didn't really specify. She said black dads in general, right? And so
Good
now
point.
I'm thinking, all right, well, what who is the caliber of dads that she must be speaking about? And so, you know, I can see where there is you know, an issue. There is a contradiction in, you know, telling your daughter one thing, but then going out there and, you know, not wanting that, you know, to happen to you. Like, nah, you got too high standards, babe. But listen to this. He's gonna say that because he's gonna take the easy route. That type of dude is gonna take the easy route because that type of woman is going to be the easy route. So if that easy route is out there, of course. So then why deal with him? You know, we we do have uh, uh, males out there that uh, listen. They're part of that. Can't teach your old dog new tricks, or this is who they are. Type. Listen, we could Trey LB. We could have as many classes as we wanted to. We could go out there and you know preach the gospel of being good men and all of that, but they gonna do what they do. So how do you weed that out? Of course, yes, you want to provide opportunities where men can teach other men, but on the other hand, ladies gonna have to learn how to keep to those standards.
Well, that means they'd have to bring something to the table. But that's a conversation for another time, probably next week. Stay tuned. But anyway, yeah, you can't. The thing about it is, we're not going to be able to change it until we start to go back to some things the way they once were. And unfortunately, it's going to be very tough, I think, to go back to things being the way that they were. Right? You gotta, there's a position of perceived power that comes with, where the freedoms that we have in this country. Right? That would, in a lot of cases, would be tough to go back to. For example, the best way to teach these values is for nuclear families to be the standard again, right? It's not a standard anymore. It's just oh great, you guys happen to be married raising your kids. I happen to not be married raising my kids, and it's just some intersection, some intersection of parenting as opposed to the standard. And so I think in order to show the standard on both sides, I think it's best for them to see both sides of it. I think the children have to see it in their home more than anything. I think that's where it starts. It always starts at home. So it's going to take a while for any of it to change anyway because of that, right? Because we'd have to go back to that traditional standard again of nuclear families and uh, so on being the standard. And look, I've said it before. It starts with us. It starts with us. Speaking to somebody who has a child outside of, or before a child before my marriage, right? I can honestly say that there's one side of doing it that works one way, and the other side works the other way. And in my opinion, the other side works the best way, right? That's my thought on it, right? Um, and statistically, stats would also suggest that you know, the nuclear family way works better too. So I think we'd have to still kind of essentially get back to that being the standard, but it's not going to be the standard as long as we've got generations still saying how men ain't shit and women don't need men for anything and men aren't protecting and so on and so forth. But then also where they're requiring these things before marriage, and I think that's another thing that in Jamel Hill's speech that I kind of picked up on, right? She's talking about the men that she's talking about who are saying that women are asking for too much are generally talking about men who are being required to do things and spend money on things before they start dating them exclusively or before they get married, before anything, before a date. Before a date, I saw. Now I'm sure this was a skit, as a lot of these things on Instagram are. But I saw a video with the caption was basically saying that it was a single mom who got a babysitter so she can go on a date with this guy, and then told the guy that he had to pay for the babysitter, and it was $250, and then also take her out on a date. That you asking too much, yo. You doing way too much, homie.
Here's what I'll say, right? Because it all boils down to as far as like when it comes to this dating thing, right? It's communication. Because I was talking to somebody today, and I will- I can say a lot of men run into miscommunication when the man thinks this is what it is, and then the woman thinks this it's something other than what it actually is, or thinking what it could be. Now, I say it that way because of experiences. I was just talking to somebody today who was saying, he had only took her out twice, and he was talking to another, another shorty, as he put it, right? He was talking to another shorty, and apparently she found out, and she started to flip, and she like flipped out on him, this, that, and the third, and I'm just like, well, but I did ask him. I said, well, did you express that y'all were exclusive or not? Did y'all talk about that? And he was like, nah, we only went out on 2 dates, and he was like, and so I was telling him, I said, listen, it comes down to communication, but even when you say this is what it is, the other party has to make sure that they accept that this is what it is, and not live in the fantasy of what it could be. Because that's where you also get into trouble, is when you're holding on to potential, or you're holding on to what it could be, instead of living in the reality, which is the now. And here's where you guys are at. Like, ain't nobody discuss exclusivity. So what are you really mad for? Did you bring
to live in
no
what you like it to be versus what it is?
But the values have to be taught, in my opinion. If we want to get better, those values really stick out, that the standard, the values is definitely got to be taught. And I don't think it's so. Then comes the question, oh, what is that standard like? And what are those values like? What define that, So I think, that really needs to, we can't just say it these days, because again, different circles, different cultures, right? They have a different measuring stick of what a standard is, or what the values are. So and I like what Diamond says, boils down, I think, to learned values and expectations that ultimately sometimes do result in becoming hurt. When it goes wrong. Once hurt, it causes people to give less and receive less. Because that's another big issue as well, because she could have went off, going back to the buddy, his story. She could have went off because of some past hurt, and she was, oh, not again, and that triggered something. And we talked about emotional intelligence, right? We talked about that. Like, come on,
or lack thereof in that case.
We got to get smarter. We got to have better communication. We got to define these standards and values, and teach those. Like, we got you, because the dating pool right now is, where's the trash can? Because
it's total crap. But it is because we don't know what things are for anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, we misuse everything. We misuse marriage, and I'm saying we. I'm saying we. I'm including me. Right.
The wood is for the no. Okay.
Wood in Herville. But yeah, man. Like, we misused a lot of the things that we have, right? I think we misuse sex. I think people use sex as a tool, and as a weapon. And unfortunately, that that leads to a lot of unfortunate circumstances. Let's put it like that. Leads to a lot of unfortunate circumstances on both sides. Yeah, yeah. You know, accountability is necessary though. If we're gonna reverse any of this stuff, accountability is necessary. And I think there are men that need to step up, but stepping up, that's what I wanted to say about Jamel Hill. You notice her a lot of women, their version of stepping up means paying for things. Right? Like they say whenever they say these men need to step up, what they basically are saying is these men need to be my sponsor. These men need to buy things. If these men want to date me, they need to help me pay for these babies that I made with this other man.
And it's so confusing though, right? For these guys out here, it's so confusing for these guys because on one hand you're saying you don't need them, you don't, this, that,
Exactly.
third, independence, all of that. But then when
Right.
you say step up, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And then in those guys' mind, it's like, why? Again, logic, right? Why? You can handle that. You're independent. You can do those things, right? Why?
And then those women think that it's men that are intimidated by them or by their career or whatever the case may be. And that's the reason why they've been unsuccessful in their relationship so far. It's not intimidation. That much I can tell you. It's not intimidation. But it might be just being generally unlikable, which again, if we're talking about what fathers teach our daughters, I think we teach our daughters to be strong, but also not unlikable, which, just because you're strong doesn't mean you're a bitch. That sneaks. Just because you're strong doesn't mean you're a bitch. You know what I'm saying? And because there is a difference. Just because you speak up for yourself doesn't mean you have to be an asshole. You know what I'm saying? So this is interesting.
Yeah.
I honestly think we should go back to fathers choosing their daughter's mate, at least be heavily involved in the process. I definitely think at least be heavily involved in the process. Again, as a father of daughters, I think because when the father's not involved in the process, things can go awry. Things can just go wrong. Like when fathers are present, there is more automatic protection over the wife, over the kids. Automatic, right? When there's no father present, it's less automatic. You know what I'm saying? It's less automatic. You want that protection as a father. You want that protection of your daughter to continue beyond you, right? And that's what it is. They're leaving my house to go to their house, to this man's house. I need to make sure that this man is going to be equipped. He's going to be good enough. He's going to be the right man for my daughter.
Yeah. See, when I read that comment, I immediately thought that, as a father of a daughter, cultivating a relationship with your daughter that would allow her to even open up and have that open communication where she does say, "Hey, Dad, you know, I'm dating such and such, or I'm thinking about dating such, or I like such and such," and then it just gets you involved. Now, as a dad, you're gonna do your investigation, right? Sometimes unbeknownst to her, but it's like that's the part of it though. That's that protection. That's that. Oh, let me. I got tons of frat brothers. Let me check and see if this boy got a record. Let me check. Let me call over here to this school. So let me call over here to this. Let me check around. Like that's the power in like the vetting process when there's an open line of communication between the father and the daughter, and just to be involved. So and right, you're not necessarily picking for her. You're just, you might drop in a couple of hints. Hey, all right, well, look out for this. Oh, where y'all go? Okay, but well, or bring them by. Bring them by for, you set up, you create an opportunity for them to be in the same space, and be able to check them, man on man to man, So,
Yep.
But that starts with having that, cultivating that relationship with your child, with your daughter, so that can happen.
Yep. And of course, teaching the sons how to act accordingly, how to act properly, how to be the husband that they want to eventually be with this woman, right? So,
And I'm
anyway,
gonna say this: listen. Also teaching them how not to be that pushover, not to
that
be,
too. Yes.
listen, don't go tying any old girl's shoestrings. Okay, don't you go buying lunch for just any old girl. Listen, hey, listen. You know what I'm saying?
Because they will take your money gladly. They
You
will take
you
your
will
kindness
you
for
will be
weakness.
used, and
You
you
will
will
get
be.
used. It is a guarantee you'll get used. Dang,
Just
man.
saying, it goes both ways.
Yeah, yeah. It's just things we have to teach our sons and things we have to teach our daughters, and that's why I disagree with even the question that Jamel Hill asked. I disagree with that whole premise. I don't think we teach our daughters that, and I do think that it is also very true that women nowadays are asking for too much, but there may be some reason for this. As a friend of mine likes to say, it's a math problem, right? Um, so I want to take a look at this video here. Hold on, let's look at this comment real quick because this is important. There's also so many fatherless daughters out here that feel unprotected and experience being used by many. I mean, used and many other issues without proper guidance. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Which is why we have to get rid of the whole mindset and mentality of, the strong, independent woman that can do it all by themselves. That's why we have to get rid of that entire mentality, because you can't not need a man for anything, but also need a man to be there for your daughter because we have fatherless daughters. I'm just saying, just using that as an example, right? With the reality is that we have to cooperate and cohabitate because we commiserated in making this baby, right? So, we need to be able to do those things without it, with less issue, I should say, which means better vetting needs to happen on both the men's part and on the women's part. I don't want to hear about your baby daddy. You let him in, because if you didn't let him in, that's rape. Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? I might not
No,
be allowed to say
probably
that.
not.
Don't
That's great.
report.
He said great. He said great.
That's great, right? Anything other than you letting him in is grapes. We can't do that to grapes. I like grapes. We can't do that. But that's what I'm saying. But again, in the end, you let him in. You probably whatever the requirements that you had to let him in, he met those requirements because you let him in. Right? And the same thing for the fellas. Hey, listen, man, you got in, but just because you got in didn't mean you had to shoot the club up. You did. You decided to load the gun and ready, aim, fire.
Terrible.
You know what I'm saying? In by the same
You thought
token,
your game was 1,000 like me, but it's not, buddy. It's not. Okay. It's 1,000 over here. Everybody can't be like this.
it be like that sometimes, yo.
It
Sometimes,
be like that.
so
Okay.
yeah, shoot the gun. Yeah, shoot the gun outside the club. Outside the club. You know what I'm saying? But now, you wanted to shoot in the club. We wanted to shoot in the club. And now here we are. Right? So I think we have to teach more that these actions have consequences, and this yeah, actions have consequences. We have
Yeah,
to
that
have
has to be
that.
definitely taught more. To if this, then that. Like
Right, right. You have when it comes to making babies, and this the Roe v. Wade or whatever, that'll be a conversation for another time. But all I can say about that is there is one surefire way to make a baby, and there are at least 100 ways I can think of to not make a baby. Okay, there's at least 100 ways I can think of to not make a baby, and you chose the one way to make a baby. That's
simple
that's
math.
all I'm saying.
It's really simple math when you think about it.
It's really simple math. There's at least 100 ways to not make a baby, and you did the one way to make a baby, and that's why this baby's here. So whose fault is it? It's both of you. It takes two to tango. He shouldn't have shot the club up, and at the same time, maybe you shouldn't have let him in. Maybe the standards and requirements should have been higher. And maybe those are the standards that we talk about. Because I don't think it's my opinion. I don't think men have a problem if you set the standard and say, you know, I don't until or whatever. Like, the right man certainly isn't going to have the problem with that. And I think ultimately you want the right man, don't you? You want to not waste time. Fellas too, you want the right woman, don't you? You want to not waste time. All right, well, maybe we should raise our standards. Fellas, maybe you should raise your standards on protection and paying, or provision, I guess. Protection and provision. Paying for stuff. Maybe you should raise your standard. All right.
Just
Anyway.
saying. We were talking. You were saying something about math, something about an equation or something.
Yeah, it's a math problem. Let's look.
Why is it that the more successful I've become, the less that men seem to want to date me?
Because you are too expensive.
For those of you who are further along in your careers,
These are, of course, just euphemisms. Success in career means income and status.
I always get told that I am too intimidating.
There's another one, intimidating. I don't think I've ever looked at a woman and said, I am afraid because you are good at things. What I am afraid of is that you are going to want to do something that costs $3,000, and I don't have $3,000.
Just because I am a strong, independent woman doesn't mean that I want to be that in every single category of my life.
Are women still calling themselves that? I thought strong, independent woman had become a meme. I guess the girl who's happy with a coffee date is weak and dependent.
Because I'll tell you, I'm exhausted.
Oh my god, me too. And what I'm exhausted from is these word games. Women don't always say what they mean. They say I'm strong and independent. They say I want a man who is ambitious and has a successful career. They'll even say, I don't care if you have money, but then they want to do things that cost money. I once dated an older woman, and right away I told her I don't have any money, and she said that was not a problem. About 3 weeks later, it had become a problem. She said some unkind things about me not having my life together. She just kept ordering food. I was like, I don't have $50. This happened with another girl when I couldn't pay a parking meter. I'm not kidding when I say I've been broke. I actually had another girl ask me out, and when I said yes, she just started listing off her demands. Dinner, drinks, movie, it was like $400. Men know that most women have requirements for money. And the more success you have, the more money you require from us. It's just simple math. The farther you go in this direction, the fewer men there are that can make you happy. And some women don't care about money, that's true. But some of them say they don't, and then they do. And I'm pretty tired of that.
When I go on first dates, I try really hard to not talk too much about my job.
Talk about it more. I once went out with a girl who said on the first date that she made $90,000 a year and needed a man who made twice that. And I said, well, why did you go out with me? And she said, I wanted to see what you had going on. And I said, do you like it? And she said, I don't see a future. That hurt way less than this. She said it was okay. Instead of using these buzzwords, just tell men what you're looking for. And if you can't find it, maybe it's 'cause you priced yourself out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So there it
It's
is. Home math, yo. That, or at least that's the name of the page. If you want to check out more of that stuff, it's called Home Math. So, I didn't name it before y'all go getting mad at me. I didn't name it. It wasn't me
this time.
this
Listen,
time. This
I feel
time.
like she's not doing proper math. Like if if you if you want to be successful and if you want to be great, you do that. You know what I'm saying? And then if you want to meet somebody that's on your level or higher, again, you got to realize that the pool of men in which you are looking for, right, starts to become slim because those type of men realize that their options now have just grown astronomically. Okay, they're through the galaxies right now. Okay, they listen. It's going to be harder and harder for you to find the type of man that you say you want, right? When you start to go to this higher tier as far as money wise goes, all right? Because men that make more money, understand in today's culture, today's society, right? Women are flocking to the money. So why if it's not something that if it's not something that I want, right? If I don't if I'm making a whole lot of money, I want to have fun and I want to be out here doing me, right? Why am I going to adhere to your standard when I got my pick of the litter? It's like what, 1 to 1,000 right now. I mean, y'all already women already outnumber men, so you already men already have, right, uh 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 the pick of the litter in any category, really. It really just depends on, again, the pool that you are swimming in, the pond that you decide that you want to swim in now.
Yeah, especially if you involve money. Especially if you involve money, you got to take your pick just about. Which is also why most of their relationships fail because they have so many options.
And then even then, when you are uh 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 in that percentage, that hot percentage, rich and single and all of that, and you got your stuff together. If you're really a high value man, now you fighting them off. So you got to deal with that too.
Right. Right. I want to go to this comment real quick by Diamond. Good. This is good right here. Women are tired of being strong. The intimidation comes most times when women require more than what a man is willing to give. I'm gonna pause right there because that is exactly correct. When you require more than what a man is willing to give, and there's a reason. There's usually a reason if he's not willing to give you something, right? Does that mean that you lower your standard? Not necessarily, but I think that the standard can't just be. It can't be something as trivial as paying bills. I mean, I'm not saying paying bills is not important. It is obviously very important, but I think it has to be something that's a little less trivial than that. I'm not saying Diamond's saying that either, but just kind of along the lines of what we've been talking about. She says goes on to say goes back to prior triggers of men being hurt by the wrong women. Yeah, yeah. Especially for the last two generations. For the last
You,
2 to 3 generations, we've been convinced that men ain't shit and that we're dogs and all we do is cheat and all we do is sleep around and you know
and men are gonna say, "Oh, okay, well, shoot, let me try that out since that's what you're thinking anyway."
Eventually.
Sounds simple, right? Sounds, adolescence almost. But listen,
A little bit petulant, maybe.
if you're gonna be, constantly, if you're gonna be constantly putting that out there and calling names and uh going through, look, most of the times people don't realize that they are inviting the negativity themselves, because and it's a constant. I myself, right? I battle talking bad to myself even now, still, right? Downing myself, or even doubting myself, or even putting myself down, right? I even battle that myself, right? The problem is when people are doing that just in general, and they're not realizing it, they're not noticing it, they're thinking that that really is the case, and so they're creating, that negativity that they've been harboring on, and they've been thinking.
Yeah, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know. And then what's worse, there we go, is I think some of them unfortunately, when it becomes a cycle, it becomes normal, and then it just becomes something that they're used to, or that they even like and even look forward to. We've heard women in real life, not just like on Instagram. Or at least I have, and I feel like you were around for some of these conversations. Um, with women that feel like, we're not arguing enough. This relationship doesn't have passion. We're not fighting enough. Like,
Well,
he
that's
doesn't
because
really
they
love me.
equate. Yeah, that's because they equate fighting or arguing,
Yeah.
right, to love, or to, you know that passion, or to, this is what needs to happen in order for us to feel alive and be it. This is what a relationship is.
Yep. 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 And that's why I said it goes back to what we show them in the house. It goes back to what you show people at show your children at home, that they more often than not tend to reflect to some extent when they get out in the world. What they see is monkey see, monkey do, monkey repeat. You know what I'm saying? That's usually what it is. And so again, we have to dispel that narrative that, men aren't good for anything. We have to dispel the narrative that, and I mean, look, 20-year-old me, 20-year-old me would hate me for saying this, but I'm just saying we got to dispel the myth that, you know, having sex is just something that you just do and there's no consequences or anything like that. Like, there's a lot that goes along with that, right? There really is. There's a lot that goes along with it, and you got to be willing to accept everything that potentially comes along with it. You know what I'm saying? I, these things have to. If you're, I'm not, and it doesn't mean I'm not saying don't do it. You just need to know what comes along with that, and govern yourself accordingly.
Yeah, you just be accountable for it. I mean, you again, you don't live in a false reality. You live in the reality, which is the now, and you did what you did, or you are going to do what you're going to do, or you are who you are. Hey, do you, boo boo? But people have you have the ability to decide, right? We all have choice. So you choose, and then you take action.
Period. Period. Make your decisions. Let's and and I hope that we are at some point able to, I'll reverse some of the trend, I guess. Um,
But
as
how do you reverse? I'm sorry. I don't mean to jump in,
yeah,
because how do you reverse the trend, or there's all so over the years, right? We've all seen, like, independent women this, that, and the third, and I feel like it still comes down to money because then there's still like this requirement for men to make a certain amount of money, no matter what. They could be independent, all of that, or they could be looking for some man to come in, but it still somehow always comes down to the man making a certain amount of money.
Well, it's a double standard. They want to be able to, make 150,000 a year and get a man that makes, 300,000 a year. Find a man that makes 300,000 a year. They know, it's like if I make 100,000 and she makes 100,000, in my mind we make 200,000. In her mind, she makes 100,000 and I make 100,000. Same thing, and it's certainly the case if it's in reverse. If let's say she makes 200,000 and I make 100,000. In my mind, we make 300,000. In her mind, she makes double the money that I make.
But so yeah, and we've heard these women out there that will even say, "Don't date a man unless he makes X number of dollars." But you don't hear men talking about don't date a woman unless she makes X number of dollars.
Yeah, because we don't care how much money they make. We don't care how much money women make. We ain't gonna stop you from making your money. Get your money, black girl, black man, black woman, whatever, right?
Get yours.
Get yours. Ain't nobody mad but the devil. But we don't care is the point. Like we don't. That's not a make or break factor. And I feel like we end up saying that every episode. And I'm gonna keep saying it till it gets driven home. We don't care what you make. We don't care what your career is. Like it's great that you have one and we support you in it, but that is not. We don't weigh that and view that the same way that you weigh and view our career and our money, and nor should we. We shouldn't weigh it the same way as you do. With that said, great segue, LB. Let's take a look at this next one about how much money men should be making.
So if you're making $50,000, don't date. I'm just being for real. You're not ready to date.
Again, I'm with you when
You're not ready to date. You're not ready to date because courtship costs.
Okay.
Everything costs. Okay. You can go for 22 walks in the park. Eventually, shorty is gonna need a sip of something. She gonna be thirsty. This bottle of water is $3 in Atlanta. Let's not play. So if you don't have any expendable cash, don't date. And whatever that looks like for you, you might only make 50,000, but you live in a shoe. And now you got expendable cash. Or get you a bottom of the barrel bitch that's gonna date you when you have no money. If she doesn't have that expectation, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, enjoy it while it lasts because eventually you're gonna wanna run. Because she doesn't stretch you. She doesn't make you the man that you need to become. She allows you to be the stagnant dude in the same jeans for days. You know what I'm saying?
Be cutting up.
I'm
You
just
talk about
saying.
me.
So if you're making
Hey man, y'all women be cutting other women way worse than any man could be cutting. Y'all women be cut. Get you a bottom of the barrel. Oh my!
Bottom of the barrel because she'll be with you while you're broke. Or translation, she'll build with you before you have it. She calls you women, she calls you all bottom of the barrel bitches. That's what she said. This chick with more random product on her face than they sell inside of CVS.
Wow.
This woman who took a Sharpie to her eyebrows.
I'm just saying, this woman who you go to bed with her, you wake up the next morning, you don't know who the heck you next.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. She out here built like a linebacker, and
Did I just speak with a man?
Yeah. Hello. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? See, this is the type of stuff that women tell women, right? This is the thing. This is what we on this show and on this channel, this is what we try to expose. This is what y'all tell each other. This
Something
isn't what we say. This is what y'all say. We don't men don't talk like this. Now, yeah, the one thing she said was you need to have some disposable income, which is I agree with that. It'd be great if you could do that. But she also said if you make $50,000, but you live in a shoe and it's okay. What? Who?
Now that's a lie. That's cap.
Who?
That's all
In a
cap.
shoe? In a shoe?
But here's the thing: she's only saying that if he's taking her out and spending all his money on her.
On her.
So she's not necessarily going back to his shoe. You see how that?
She
how that works
probably can't fit the shoe one way or the other.
Ooh. If the shoe don't fit,
you might not be fit. I'm just saying. I keep looking over
here's the
here.
thing.
I keep seeing. I keep, I'm looking at this woman. And
Here's what I'm saying.
I'm just trying to figure out
the high value. Anyway, look, if you make 50,000, so all right. So I will agree that if you plan to date, period, you do need to budget for that. You need to at least be able to cover your own or whatever, and then communicate what y'all doing, Dutch, parks, whatever it is. Like, you can make it happen. Like, listen, money is a means to an end. Money is a means to an end. Okay? Because if we didn't have money, we'd still be living. We'd still be thriving. People would be bartering, or people be, working off of different talents. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a farmer with chickens and my LB is a farmer with cows. And so I'm going to give him eggs and he's going to give me milk. So money is a means to an end. It's a means to getting to that what it is that you want, that desired end result. Okay. So for her specifically to really just be focusing in on the money. I mean, first of all, come on, you one step away. All right, I'm not gonna go on there. But I'm gonna just say this. I do agree that if you plan to date and you make a certain amount of money, you need to still plan for whatever budget that is. All right. Don't go out here with her thinking, oh, I need to spend $200, $300, $500. Nah, if your budget is $25, make that happen. And guess what? If she ain't there for it,
that's the real deal. Like,
moving on.
we are hearing in real time how they feel about, men, fellas, about your money and your income and stuff like that. Okay. All right. Well, stop spending it. Just like I said, raise your standard. Stop spending it. Take the girl on a date that is good with the Starbucks date because y'all are just getting to know each other anyway. Not the one that, demands you wine and dine her and take her to this place and, this dinner and this movie and this, that, and the other. I mean, if you want to do those things, great, but don't let them bully you into spending all your money. Make you feel less than because you wasn't able to take them to Ruth Chris. Look, man, they can go hop on the boat down at the harbor or at the wharf or something like that. They can go find a millionaire, and that millionaire can take them out to the Ruth Chris if that's really what they want.
That millionaire definitely take you out to the Ruth Chris and and you better be fine being number 28.
Yup. Don't be talking about you want to be somebody. I want to be somebody's wife. No. Because again, husband and wife is sickness and health, richer or poorer, right? So death do us part. Like marriage ain't no game. So yes, of course, you want to do the best that you can to make sure that you have somebody who is going to be able to best take care of you throughout that time. But you don't make 50,000, you shouldn't be. I don't know. Maybe she grew up in a wealthy family where 50,000 is pocket change or something. Maybe that's what it is. But for the rest of us in the world, most of us didn't grow up like that. And I can tell you right now, like my LB said, $25 can be a good date. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not about the date. It's about getting to know that person and seeing if that person is going to be the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. It's not about the date. Just like the wedding is not, the marriage is not about the wedding. And some people put so much energy and effort into the wedding that they forget about the marriage.
Of course. And then they're divorced 18 months later,
Yeah,
9
hello?
months later, 12 months later.
Because we worried so much about because we worried about the wrong stuff. Worrying about which outfit them shoes is going to go with, instead of worrying about the resale value down the road. Worrying about the wrong thing. Worrying about the wedding, not the marriage. Worrying about the date, not the relationship, not the person that you're getting to know. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm not saying that these things aren't important, like they don't have a priority, but they can't be in my opinion, they can't be the priority. Look, man, I'm telling you, I know, especially being in the real estate field, I know and knew quite a few people that was making stacks on stacks on stacks. And when I tell you not one of them was in a stable relationship. I'm not saying that, if you can find a rich man, don't date the rich man. Go date the rich man if that's what you want to do. But I'm just saying I don't know one of them that was in a stable relationship. It's they're few and far between. All right. That's all I got to say about that.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
in the interest of time, uh, in the interest of time, we'll jump to these last couple ones that are a little bit more uh, what's the word I want to look for? A little more fun loving, if you will, right? A little less controversial. At least I think this is
At
going to
least you
be.
think. Oh boy.
I think this is going to be a little less.
Let's do it.
I think I'm hoping.
Oh man.
All right. Okay. Here we'll.
I'm gonna take my shot on this one.
Yeah, you definitely gonna need a shot on it. I wonder what the comments are gonna say. So, ladies, this is a very, very simple. I mean, guys too, but this is a very, very simple video. Um, it's just asking a very simple question. And it's how do you keep your man happy? How do you keep your man happy for a long time, right? From an older couple that's been married for many, many years, and this is what they had to say.
Wise.
Pam, how you keep a man happy for 45 years?
45 years.
Wait, tell him in the ear. Don't tell him, Mike. Tell him in the ear. Tell him in the ear.
Y'all heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Assuming nothing changed in the last hour and a half, and we can still call you that. Y'all heard it for yourselves. How you keep that man happy for 45 years? Sex, sandwiches, and silence. And she said the most important part of that is she said, make with that gawk gawk. You know what I'm saying? Make with that gawk gawk. See, you worrying about the wedding. We worrying about with the wedding night. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I ain't seen a man yet. I ain't seen a man. Matter of fact, There was a maybe I'll find this. Maybe we'll break this down a little bit next week. There was a tweet or something like that I saw where the guy he got caught cheating on his wife, and the chick he was cheating on his wife with, um, she had fake teeth, and so she was able to take her teeth out, and he responded apparently to her in a text message saying, "I love how you can, take them out and make with the
Thank you.
yeah. So, all I'm saying is, doggone right, somebody in the church said amen. It was probably
Yeah.
me. I probably telepathically said amen. It was probably the collective thoughts of every man within a 25-mile radius at the same time that it was said, that all said amen at the same time.
I thought I heard some high pitched amens. I thought I heard some women in the congregation as well.
Those were all the ladies who know. Those are the ones who know. Who it ain't a chore. It's a privilege. It's not a chore for you to do this. It's a privilege. The ones that act like that, they're going to heaven. All right. Now, some of the rest of y'all, y'all got to think about it. Got to get yourself all in the mood and shit. You got everything got to be set up all right. Got all that kind of stuff. You get yourself together. You move all slow towards the eggplant. You know what I'm saying? Moving all slow towards the cucumber, right? And y'all might have some repenting to do. But the ones that said amen, straight to heaven.
Look, I'm laughing because it just what happened at work. One of my colleagues, I can't even say who it is because I'm not, but he said that he took his wife in because she had to get her jaw lubricated. I said, what? I said, what does that even mean? I said, what does that even mean?
What does that mean? And how do I get my wife one? I mean, huh?
Your jaw lubricated.
How does that even work?
I don't even know. I know he was joking because it's probably a different procedure where she's probably actually getting her jaw, like, I don't know, realigned or just, I don't know what it is, but.
Yes, her jaw realigned. Yes.
But
we ransack.
So wait, when she came out, when she came out of surgery, he was asking her how she was feeling, this, that, and third, and he said, oh, my jaw and mouth are numb. I can't feel a thing. And he said he looked over like, oh, so how's about we go back home and do that thing that hasn't been done for a while? Oh man. Needless to say, he wasn't successful, and I don't know how long that marriage is going to last. I don't know how long that marriage is going to last, but
you mean to tell me she went to go get her jaw lubricated and it still didn't work? Because the joke
and numb. It was numb. Listen, what are we talking about?
You have to.
You wouldn't even feel anything.
Oh, that marriage is done for. It's a wrap. It's already over. We're just waiting for the confirmation of it. It was over. It was over the night she turned him down.
Oh man.
The night that mission went unsuccessful. That marriage was that was
world. Cold world.
Ooh, sad story. All right, let's get to something lighthearted. Okay, dad gang. All right, because we dads first. We love that part of this thing. So here we go, dad gang.
You're like the last ride right there. Man, I'm tired just watching that.
I
That's
love it.
nonstop with RJ. Good Lord.
I was gonna say it looks like you with RJ. That looks like me with my girls. That look like me with my girls and RJ.
Man, that's Jess and RJ as well. Like,
Yeah,
man, that's everybody in RJ. RJ's is
he's a rough house.
man. Whew. I'm tired thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We gotta go. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Yep. You got to, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to teach them some resilience. Let them have some overall fun. Get their bodies like toughened up a little bit. Especially if you got little boys. You know what I'm saying? Giving birth to these little soy boys out here. We got enough of them out here in these streets. You know. We gotta toughen them up.
Yep. Yep.
These kids can't take nothing. Can't take a punch. Can't take a joke. You know what I'm saying? Get back to bullying your kids and telling them that they have big heads and stuff like that. Man, they can't hear nothing. They can't hear no kind of criticism nowadays. Soft,
Soft.
SAWFT, soft. Anyway.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Let's get back to the rough housing. Let's get back to the nuclear family. Let's get back to standards. Let's get back to teaching our kids how these things are supposed to actually work. Be the louder voice in our kids' ear. We got to be very, very loud because there's a lot of voices trying to get in your kids' ears. There's a couple of subjects I wanted to bring up, but we ain't have a lot of time to get into that. But like Cocoa Melon, for example, even Cocoa Melon, down to the babies. They trying to get inside your kids' heads. So we got to be the loudest voice in our kids' ears for this generation, for the next generation. Otherwise, we are screwed. Anyway, that's it, man. We made it to the end, yo. Shout out to us. Oh, for all of us out here, man. We made it work. We made it work. LB, take us out, my guy.
Chopped and screwed.
Chopped and screwed.
You've officially been chopped and screwed. Yeah, man. Hey, listen. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate y'all, man. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, subscribe, share. Yeah. So here's what I'm gonna say, because I know I was saying that it's been a rough week and all of that, and I know some of you have probably had a tough week as well. But just remember, this is just what you're going through. I talked about learning the game and all of that. What you're going through right now is not who you are. You're becoming who you're going to be. You're becoming that person. So keep going through it. Keep fighting. Keep learning the game. Keep making those decisions. Keep taking action. And we will see you guys back here next time for some more fun, for some more laughter, for some more just ratchetness. We're gonna next. I think next episode is gonna be fire. Next episode is gonna be fire. So stay tuned. March 1st, March babies. March is coming up for all my Pisces, all my March babies. We up next. But y'all be easy. Have a good night. And make sure, again, I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to just point. Let's go, baby.
Wood in V is all I saw. Wood in V. So Y'all know what time it is. Thank y'all again for joining us, man. We appreciate y'all. Yeah, next week is definitely going to be something. Big shout out to Pisces season. We here. It's y'all turn. It's y'all turn. We're going to have some fun coming up here over the next couple of weeks, man. Y'all stay safe. Pay attention, as I always say. Keep your eyes open. Keep your head on the swivel, because there is a war. There is a battle for your mind. I'm just saying, for your mind, for your kids' minds, for your family, we are at war straight up. I'm just saying. There's a lot going on. We got to be paying attention to stuff that's happening. We're going to do our best to bring it to you. We're going to do our best to keep the conversation going and have a little bit of fun doing it, pouring our glasses and talking a bunch of trash, because that's what we do best. That's it. We out of here, man. We appreciate it. Appreciate y'all again. Like, share, and subscribe, especially if this is your first time. Tell a friend to come join us next week. It's going to get wild.
Let's get it.
Cheers to the freaking weekend. We'll catch y'all on the next one.
Going to go your best friend a day after breaking up with your boyfriend. That means you wanted to your best friend while you were dating your boyfriend.
It's kind of more complicated, like.
Can we stop pretending like having a guy best friend isn't a huge problem?
Because if I bring something to the table, you're going to be mad because it's going to be another man.
A man who obviously doesn't expect much out of their partner.
Who's going to not ask me to bring something to the table. He's going to take care of the bill, them kids, and everybody else. And you, if you look broke. Okay? Sprinkle, sprinkle. That's how I roll.
Don't hate me, because I'm not saying we ought to go back to this. But in the Old Testament, the woman waited at the altar, and the man marched down the aisle. Let me give you biblical. We are the church, the bride. We are here waiting on the groom. So society has you believing something that isn't God, because every man is looking for a woman who understands her value, but also understands his.
For the Force, the King, the Kamikaze, and the Great Incurable, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you had a good time tonight. Tune in next week. It's sure to be a crazy night. We'll dig into all the shenanigans next week. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and tell a friend to follow us. Catch you on the next round.